Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. It is January, isn't it? Feels like almost next December or something, but good to see everybody. We're going to pray and say the Pledge of Allegiance, and I've asked Ron Merritt from Cornerstone Church to lead us. And so, Ron, would you do it?
I will. Get your Bibles out. You know how preachers are. We don't want to miss an opportunity. Let's pray. Thank you, Lord. God, you're so good. We're so undeserving. And we praise you because you have come into our hearts and lives, and you have made yourself available to us. We bless your name. And Lord, ask you to have your way at this meeting tonight. Everything done decently and in order. And we ask it in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
This is about I hope you all have gone online and filed for your reduction. There's a 25% reduction, and then there's also a 50% reduction, which I've got to wait a couple more years to apply for. But get these done, get these in by February 1st. And if you need to take a picture, I think the website is on here somewhere. If not, oh, it's right on the top. Duh. Okay, here it is on the top. And just take a picture of that and make sure you apply for that. We don't want you to miss it. That's for sure. Yes, George?
That comes off next year, right?
What's that?
Comes off next year.
Next year, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. How many of you saw a nice difference? Raise your hand this year. I think I did too. So thank you, legislators. Are you? Okay, did I do good? Or okay. Yes. Amen. Thank you. All righty. We're going to show you a video. It's a man named William Federer, and you may be familiar with him. You may not be. And I'm going to invite Lyle after the video to just come and make some comments. I have another slide after this video, some of his main points. It's only like, a minute video? And but it's a little teaching, and we want to make sure we involve Lyle in a little teaching every month.
But our founding fathers that this speaker spoke of, they were patriots, right? But what were they to get to be patriots? Any idea? And I'm going somewhere with this, I really am. They were insurgents. That's how you get to be a patriot. And they actually gave up their riches, their lives, their time to put together what we have today for a constitution. And we are kings because this is a republic. The Constitution was set up, and he wasn't joking, the Constitution was set up for the individual up. We have the same Constitution right now, and it's for the government down. So we have a perfect opportunity going forward. Doesn't matter if it's within 6 days, 6 months, or 6 years, or 60 years. We can now start the process of reversing this thinking process of our courts and also our elected officials, because the Constitution was established for me. It was established for you and everybody in this room individually. That's how that Constitution was put together. And yes, we are a republic. And we have a constitutional duty to train other people in this country that are citizens of this country what our responsibilities are as a republic and to keep it. And without God, and several founding fathers mentioned this, without God in the picture, we do not keep this republic, because as we become evil and sinners, we have more need for more government. We need less government. So that's what I've got to say about that. Mhm. Excuse me. I guess Dean is up and you can introduce him.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. One thing on the slide here that I thought was good was that the present that the founders gave was that you get to be in charge of your own life. Wow, that is so awesome and wonderful. And so that being said, I'm going to have Dean come up. Dean is on the cemetery board, and he has a few things to share with us about his workings. Thank you, Dean.
Thank you. Thank you. I guess where I'd start is the problem I've had with the cemetery board is we have a lot of money there, and our president's been taking that money and handing it to nonprofits, economic development, Chamber of Commerce, and Happy Girls. And I've had a problem with that. I brought it to their attention, and I've been working on this for about 4 years with not much change. And so this fall, I went ahead and wrote a letter to the paper, went public with it. And now we have a lot of people showing up, and I really appreciate their support. Now, at our last meeting, someone sent our president the Patriot meeting here, and he went ahead and played a segment of it. And it was, he says, I've got to play this. And so he goes ahead and plays, and it's Susan Sisti saying, thank you, Dean, for bringing this to our attention. This was horrifying. And he said, horrifying? What did you tell them? Yeah, because horrifying, you should only use that word if it's a plane crash or something terrible like this. And I said, you've got the tape right there. You said you just listened to it. Turn it on. I said, and he wouldn't turn it on. And then he asked me again, what did you say? I said, you've got it right there. Turn it on. But he wouldn't do it. Then he went on to say, play the segment there about Troy's situation about how we shouldn't be paying taxes on our house year after year after year. And he was saying how terrible that was because that's how we have money to go put, for roads, and that's how our cemetery is funded. Yeah, you're right. Good point. And so anyway, he throws that out there, and I said, well, I totally agree with him. I said, you have a 30-year mortgage on your house, and then you pay taxes again, year after year after year. And I said, it's a problem. I said, it's a big problem, like over there in Jackson Hole, where people have been pushed out of their house because they just can't afford the taxes anymore. And I said, it should be a one-shot deal, and then you should have to be able to stay in your house. Well, then someone else brought up, that we shouldn't be talking about this, which is probably fine. I mean, as far it is, the cemetery issues is what we're supposed to be talking about. But anyway, that's where we are on it, continuing to fight it. Yeah, he's the one that brought it up. So that's why I thought, you want to bring it up? I'll go ahead and address it. So I did. So anyway, that's where we are, and continues to be a fight. And I'm sure he's going to get this, and he knows when these meetings are. Told him, hey, you want to come to the meeting? Come on. But I don't see him here tonight, and I probably won't. But anyway, that's what the situation is, and I'll continue to fight it because I don't think it's right that we take money that's assigned for running our cemetery and then just hand it to whoever we think we want, So anyway, it's I guess kind of a lonely place to be, but you're doing the right thing, and I've had a lot of support from you people, and I appreciate that, and I'm just going to continue fighting the good fight.
You won't
So-
be alone for long. We're gonna send you some help.
Well, that'll be good. That'll be good. Go ahead.
I just have a question. I've been to other meetings. I don't go to cemetery meetings, but I've been to commissioner meetings, library meetings, and city council meetings, and we're always instructed never to call out a person's name. And so I'm kind of stunned that they not only did that, but recorded a clip of someone in a meeting and played it in a meeting. Don't they have a policy like the other boards do? Do not-
Well, no, no. They have kind of Jim's policy, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, so,
I thought it was inappropriate, even if it wasn't me.
oh, yeah, yeah. And I was surprised that this is a segment. I thought, okay, he's gonna play what I said. And I thought, whatever, I said what I said. I'm not ashamed of it. And then he plays that. Then he said, what did you tell him? And I said, well, go ahead and play it. But he wouldn't, so. Anyway,
He's scared.
yeah, go ahead.
Have they now changed for the commissioner meeting and now to the conflict with the cemetery board?
Yes, it does. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I talked to him about that, but they had their reasons for doing it too. And I mean, yeah, so, yeah, so, I mean, it is what it is, but anyway, that's kind of where we are on that. So we'll just continue. And our lawyer, well, when I wrote that letter, when the newspaper got it, Cheyenne got a hold of our lawyer and the cemetery, well, and the president too, and said, you can't be doing this. And so now it's shut down for the most part. But our lawyer said he wanted to get something in writing to see where we can spend money and, and where we can't and that kind of thing. We haven't got that yet. And as far as I'm concerned, it's fine, really, the way it is, as long as we're not spending any money there. So.
I would wonder what else is going on.
What, as far as other places, money?
Other areas.
Well, I know. So just have to keep digging and keep working and just see what we can find. But
Run for the cemetery board.
yeah, go ahead.
Dean, when are the cemetery meetings?
It's the first Wednesday after the first Tuesday. So if Wednesday's the first, then it's the following week. So basically the first Wednesday. But I can give you the schedule for the year if you want. Oh, okay. All right. Well, they have the workshop at 9:30 and the main meeting starts at 10:45. Yeah, they're both open to the public. Yeah. You bet.
AM or PM?
AM. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dean, for your good work. Yes, we are being watched, but that's okay. That's all right. And anybody's welcome to come. Anybody. And we mean that. So very good. Okay, next on the schedule, we have Norberto. Norberto coming up for, he's our GOP chairman, and he's going to come share some things that are going on. I have a few dates up on the screen too for you. Thank you, Norberto. Thank you for being with us.
All right, so just quickly, first date that you're going to see up there is our next central committee meeting. Again, that's open to anyone in the public. If you're not an elected member of the central committee, you are welcome to come and join us. That will be the 22nd, 5:30 p.m. It's going to be at George Amos Building. This is a little bit of a change. It's typically at the library, but there were some scheduling issues, so it'll be at George Amos Building in the Cottonwood Room. Hope to see you all there. It'll be our last meeting before we head into caucus convention season. So we'll be going over at that meeting a little bit about what caucus and convention will look like, and I'll give you guys a quick, very brief overview in a moment. And we've got some resolutions coming up as well. On that note, if you want to know more about agenda, resolutions, all these various things, please visit campbellcountyrepublicans.com. Visit our website. We're going to be uploading all the information there. I recently retrofitted this website, made it a little bit nicer, more accessible. All that information is going to be on there. The very first thing you'll see when you go on the website is an option to sign up for our news emails. I encourage you all to sign up to receive periodic emails. It'll share dates of events that are coming up, things that are going on for your awareness. So, I want to give you a quick overview of caucus and convention. Now, bear with me because this is my first caucus and convention, and I happen to also be running it. So I'm figuring this out a little bit as I go. This is really important. Really, really important. So, what I've heard in previous cycles, there have been precincts that have not been represented, which is unacceptable. That should not be happening. So, starting with caucus, that'll be February 7th. It's coming up a lot quicker than you think. It'll be a Saturday. It's going to be at Camplex Central Pavilion. And one update I will give you, it's not going to start at noon. It's going to start at 1 p.m. That was my mistake. So, caucus is an opportunity for all of you all to make sure you're represented, to make sure your voice is heard at convention and then heard at the state level. So what caucus is going to look like is you're going to group up in your various precincts and you're going to elect delegates. And we're currently working through those numbers, finalizing them now, but each precinct is going to get a certain number of delegates on top of their precinct committee men and women. But you all get to decide who's going to represent you at the county convention. You all also get to decide what sort of resolutions do you want to see. Do we need to change the party bylaws? Do we need to update the platform planks at the state level? You all get to have these discussions in your precinct groups and then bring that to the convention. So at the convention, it's going to be a much bigger group. It's going to be 200 total, 98 precinct committee men and committee women, 102 delegates that, again, you all are going to choose from among your neighbors. We will congregate. We will go through the resolutions, the bylaw changes, the platform planks. You all get to decide what the future of the state party looks like, what the future of the county party looks like. Also, at this event, you will elect delegates to the state convention. See, it's a layered process here. This is the very beginning. This is the grassroots level. So at county convention, you'll elect delegates to the state convention. That delegation will go and they'll have all the resolutions that you all pass, any changes to platform planks. We will take those to the state. And then on your behalf, we will fight to get those items passed. So that's a very basic overview of caucuses, convention coming up. Again, I want to stress how important it is, especially the caucus, making sure that we get people there. It's open to any registered Republican in Campbell County. So bring people, show up, and make sure you've got lots of people to nominate for the delegate positions, for alternates in case one of your delegates gets sick or something like that. And just make sure you're in the room. You know, we often wonder how all the craziness that we see in the news happens, how the whole hate crime ordinance thing came to be, how in Natrona County, they basically rejected a turning point chapter while endorsing other ideologies. How does that stuff happen? It doesn't happen overnight. It happens when good people fail to show up. And so that is my ask of all the groups that I'm talking to, of all the people I'm talking to, is show up, because that's how we affect positive change. And I think that really the Campbell County Republican Party can be one of the strongest, if not strongest, county parties in the state. And I think we've got an opportunity with all the momentum going on around the country, around the state, for a new era of conservative leadership. So, again, spread this message to friends, family, drag people to show up to caucus, convention. It's important and it does make a difference. And with that, I will take any questions, comments.
I've been in caucus forever. I will tell you, in 2022, there were so many pissed off Campbell County guys that we filled that central, that we were in the central pavilion, we were in the Wyoming Center, and we filled it. We filled it. There were still maybe one or two precincts that didn't have anybody there. But it was awesome to see. The next two, the 224, the Trump roll.
Mhm.
So I'd like to see it get bigger.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Norberto. Thank you for your leadership. Good leadership, definitely. Next up, we have Jack Clary, Ward 2, City Council. Wow. I knew that was a bad row back there. I knew it. You're sitting back there with the bad guys. Okay.
It doesn't work.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I just want to share some information with you that I know you're not aware of. My next town hall meeting will be March 25th at 6 o'clock at the Wyoming Library Room, okay? We'll have the same, Mary Bruner's going to attend, and Jerry Mean's going to speak, myself, but right now I don't have a state representative announced right now. I gotta wait till the legislative session's over to hope to get Mr. Tarver or Abby, but I don't know yet. If we don't, Troy volunteered, so that's kind of the agenda. I want to talk about the city budget. We're coming up on our budget workshops. The first one is April 14th, and they're all at the City West Break Room. All these meetings be held there from 6 to 9. The next workshop is April 28th, same place, same time. The third workshop is May 12th, again, same place, same time. And the last one is May 14th. So I hope to see a bunch of people there so they can see how this budget is formulated and which city council person or mayor, how they want to look at putting this budget together, what they're for and what they're against. I think it's important for people to get engaged if you want to understand it. This is the time, okay? The other thing I want to cover briefly, you know, the Gurley overpass has come up again. And if you went to the city council meeting, you see they had a presentation done by a group of engineers. They laid out 3 types of options. One option is probably not do nothing and just repair the deck. The other one is put a whole new deck on. They say that only lasts 20 years. But the other one, complete the whole bridge. But they said about, in the paper report, about $40 million, if I remember right. But that's not correct. Let me tell you why it's not correct. You got a lot of work that's got to be done. You got roads to change. You got abutments to build. You got a lot of things. And my guess, and I think shared by others, we'll be closer to 60 million time it's said and done. So they're not telling you everything. You just can't take a bridge and put a new one there. There's all kinds of ancillary work that's got to be done. You can't get around it. Especially when you talk about 4 lanes versus 2. You got the 6th Street, I believe, and what's the other one? 4th. Well, you got to address those issues. It costs money. So just prepared that 40 million is just for the bridge only. And they want a 4-lane. They want a bike bike path, and things of that nature would cost a lot of money. And again, things increase. And then you got to take in fact, and this factor, and they're not sure where the funding's going to come from. A lot of talk about getting money from the federal government, which would be good, and some from the state. But they just don't write a check once you put an application the next day. So think about the timeline. If they put in that application, say today, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm just assuming, being with the government, you probably wouldn't get a response if you got the award probably for 6, 8 months, right? And then you got a lot of criteria to give them to get that approval. So you wouldn't get any funding, my guess, until sometime in '27. That being said, you can't start any construction till after that money's there. You gotta put them on, right? And the other thing I look at is this, that inflation is gonna grab you. So what they tell you today, inflation goes up, what, 4, 5, 6, 7%, wherever it is? Well, those costs are gonna increase as well. So if it's $40 million a day just for the bridge, is that 45 million? Time all this stuff gets together? I don't know that number. But you can probably put together, if you had a good CPA and an accountant, to get that number a little closer than I do. So keep all this stuff in mind as you hear about this Gurley overpass and weigh in on it. Do you want a 4-lane? Is it needed? Or do you want to just place the deck and allow it go for 25 years? I mean, that's something that we're all paying for, some fashion. Yes. Mhm. Mhm.
But I've often wondered, why can't we put an overpass on one of the other roads that comes off of Burma? That would it be so wide? Would we have to be so long? There's already roads going up to the track. We don't have to replace the road. We can build another one, just half a mile to the east.
Those types of questions, I appreciate you coming to the council and asking, because you bring a good point. I think of that the same way, and so is Rolf. But again, it comes ideas from you folks. You guys tell the council what you want, especially when you live there, right? Because you know they put a new bridge in, that's gonna be at least 2 or 3 years till they get that thing built.
Where they stop all the time.
The
So
real-
you have to go around or try to do the underpass. It is horrendous.
But that's, again, you come to the council meeting, share your concerns. Don't be bashful. I'm not gonna answer that, okay? But you need to come and share your ideas and your options and get them to think more. Doesn't mean one thing fits right, right? Many ideas are out there and some are very good.
But a walking.
And you can do that. You don't need 4 lanes to achieve that. That cost would probably be half. That's just my guess. Go ahead, Helen.
So any of the options, will we be able to cross through that, or are we gonna have to go different ways during, regardless of what route you go?
Well, you have to go some other route while the bridge is being tore down and a new one put up. And that's what I was talking about. They're estimating about 2 years. I don't know if that's a realistic date or not. I can't say. But you're gonna be looking at some time. You have to go a different route. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, because that's always been my concern, being everyone trying to get across, you know.
For 2 years, that's the
Yeah.
I agree.
They mentioned only the third option, the most expensive option, was the one they could do in stages, where the traffic would not be interrupted. And I'll tell you, a couple of city council people's eyes just lit up at that, saying that's the only way that we can get federal funds is if it's ADA compliant.
Right.
And that's the most expensive one. And the only way that it doesn't get completely closed down is the most expensive one. So right away, you could just tell, boom, boom, boom. They thought that was the best plan. Right away, those two things. Oh, that's the one we have to go with.
Just clarify, you mean which people wanted that way?
Well.
We got a lot of council people.
Brooks, and actually McClellan. And who knows about Lundball. So it could already be 4.
Okay, I just
I'm
want,
just looking for glints in the eyes.
okay. Did you see any in my eyes?
Not in yours.
Okay, thank you. Just want to clear that up.
You were
Go
sleeping.
ahead.
Do they pay for that up front or their interest charges as well?
Jerry, you got a better idea because you handled contracting for a number of years. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you're a good resource.
They could do a bond and it would be paid out over a certain amount of time. What people have misunderstood, option 2 and 3, the bridge will be out of commission. Because once you remove the deck, there's nothing to drive on. And you were very clear on the fact that their prices only include the bridge structure. None of the replacing the utilities, none of your ramps, they're lowering the curvature of the road or the bridge and the curvature of the ramps coming up. So those are all additional costs. What you're only seeing is what the bridge structure costs. None of the work that is involved in removing it, building the ramps, replacing the utilities. In the bid, in the ballot, it was $38.4 million, if I remember correctly. Now
You're right.
we're at 27 to 31. What do they leave now? And this is a question I brought up at the city council. Why have we not seen a schematic for preliminary drawings? Because all the history and everything is in place right now. Has all kinds of benchmarks. It's very easy to draw out. So my question, Mike, was why are we not presenting this to the public? A picture says 1,000 words. It's easy for the public to understand what is being proposed.
I agree that the public should see these drawings before we do anything. And that's where it comes back to voicing our opinion. You gotta ask or demand something before you get it, right? You need to know there's a hunger out there to respond. And that's what we should be doing. Yes,
Doesn't that make just the resurfacing the best option? Just all the additional costs and interest and.
well, that's what they've been doing to some degree, but look at the cost we do on an annual basis. It's quite a bit of money. And what they're afraid of because of the salt, it's leached down through the bolts and is rotting it. So you gotta do something sometime. I do agree with that. But does that be a whole bridge? Is that the best solution for this time and this age? I don't know. That's where the public needs to weigh in, give their opinion, okay? Go ahead.
You're talking about the salt leaching down through the deck.
Yeah,
And I suppose that's actually deteriorating the steel structure.
yeah.
Why don't we quit using salt in Gillette?
That'd be a great thing to do. I would support that for my cars.
Well, for the cars, it's hard on pavement, it's hard on concrete. It kills the grass on the boulevards.
Yeah.
You have weeds growing there in the summertime. The other issue, and this is kind of complicated, when they're putting, the salt, they have another name for it. We'll call it salt.
They call it ice melt.
Chloride.
Right.
Chloride. When they're putting that down on the most driven streets or busy streets, you've got vehicles coming in from side streets and have snow in the tread, and it's mixing in with the melted snow and the chloride, and it's getting watered down and eventually is already in the cracks in the pavement, in the concrete, and it eventually does get watered down and freezes and then it cracks even wider. Am I right about this?
You're right, go ahead.
Okay, so the way I feel about it, and believe me, everybody in town has seen street sweepers sweeping streets that aren't dirty. You know why they do sweep streets that aren't dirty? That's a tongue twister.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, they do that because they're using up a budget. Well, it is. Yes. That's the way government works. That is the way the government works. I used to be a state councilor. Why are we spending this money? I would go to the department heads, why are we spending this money? If we don't spend it, we don't get it back in that budget next year. So I
They
would
should
say.
just do away with that rule, then they wouldn't waste the money.
We can actually put all starting to maintain streets, put down the surfaces on streets and concrete, because it's really hard on concrete also. And we've got, we have ash out at Whitehead.
Yeah, a lot of it.
Really good traction. It is.
But there's a point about that I can speak to.
Okay.
That may not be up for sale because of the metals it's got in it. And that, we tried to do that before on another project. Heavy metals, exactly right. So I don't think, P Corp will not release it, or Black Hills because of that. You're right, the material is good, but you gotta get released. Yeah. Maybe Vicky was first.
What, something that raised my eyebrow in the article was the life projection of a new bridge was 70 years, is that right?
75 years.
Why didn't this one last 75 years?
Why it didn't? Well, my question is why we start repairing that deck after 5, 6 years in operation, which I wasn't here.
And furthermore, the maintenance cost on the new 40 million plus bridge, that's not, again, that's more maintenance cost down the road too.
Right.
They're not, putting into, the equation. But I don't understand why it's gonna last 75 years if this one didn't.
I can answer part of that. There's two things they told us. First, they're gonna include it in that there's gonna be more, earth built up under the cement. Therefore, it won't freeze because there's not air going under it. So the way it is now, there's more just like, bridge, and then a little bit of earth. And so it freezes more. So that's a weakness. And then also, in 80, when they built it, they didn't have the epoxy coating on the steel. The new one will
Right.
have that, so that will help it. And not 100% prevent, but largely keep it from the rusting that it has now. So, I don't know, 40 years to 75 is a big stretch, but that's,
You're right, Laura. The epoxy coating on the steel is the key to,
yeah,
for life extension.
that's what they're saying. Yeah.
Well, my question is, didn't they say at that meeting that they were also gonna take Fourth and Sixth Street and make them cul-de-sac?
I believe that's what they said.
Yeah, and then all the electrical, the sewer, everything's gonna have to be taken care of there. Did he give us a price on that?
No,
Okay.
that's that add-in that Jerry's been talking about. All these things add up. Yeah.
So when they gave the slides, there were 4 slides that they gave. One of them had the official news referred to 6 to 8 million, 18 to 24 million, and 27 to 31 million. That's exactly what.
That's right.
If you look to the next page, which we didn't say, there's another 18 million, which is exactly what there's beautification, utility adjustments, exactly what Pat Collins just said. That's another 17 million 5. So that puts us.
That's where it gets to that number. I'm saying eventually, with inflation, you're gonna see that number exceed the combination of those two. Yeah, easy. No. Susan?
Oh, I just want to comment that they want to upgrade it so for heavy truck traffic.
Yeah, that was one of their points they made, was for that, if I remember right. Jerry?
Um, The question is, they're gonna release traffic back to 59 on 6th Street. That's at the base of the hill coming from the high school. The question is what kind of construction are you gonna go through to bring that traffic back? Plus, they were talking about taking 6th Street across Hoskinson's, or the Butler space across Hoskinson's property. There's a lot of unanswered questions. And basically, I cannot say that the city is not looking at the future. The second option was for 30 years. The third option was for 75 years. So basically, it comes down to, this is your bridge. If you have questions, be more than free to ask them. Because the city council, the city administrator, they answer to us, the people. And when I ask questions, I'm just wanting to know what they really have proposed. I'm not gonna say that they're wrong, but I really wanna know what I'm paying for.
If they're planning on going through Hoskinson land there north of Trinity, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I think there's gonna be a tough stretch to get that from them, so I'll leave that for, somebody else to tell them that.
What I'm referring to, Jack, is there's so many unanswered questions that when Mike's talking, I hope that he's willing to answer all.
And that's, again, he needs the answer, but we need to bring the questions to them. And that's what I guess I'm advocating for, that people come forth, because I don't have all the questions. I can listen to them, I can advocate for you, but you need to make your presence and talk to them. That's when you get the bang for your buck. Believe me, that's what it takes. And you know that. Ben?
I asked what they would do, like if they would use eminent domain or what they would do to cut the road across the Butler Street and across Hoskins' way.
Mhm.
And they said they already have a drainage easement wide enough that they would just take it, use the drainage easement and put a road over the drainage. So,
Again, I haven't seen any drawings or anything at all to even say what they're gonna do. So I'm as much as blind as Jerry and everybody in this room is.
I have another question, not regarding that, but you were talking about the workshops and the meetings. Now, at the workshops, the public can come,
Yes,
but we can't ask questions.
and that's correct. You listen. But I think by listening, you'll gain a lot of knowledge going forward, and that's why I'm advocating for people to understand where their dollars being spent on what.
we possibly have draft copies available of the budget. Last year I asked Michelle and a stack of 20 of them sitting there. It's after.
I don't know the answer, but I sure could ask that question, Rolf. Okay. Anybody else that I can't answer all the questions of?
I have a question. They talked about, I think it's Shoshone, they were talking about, which is out at the baseball fields and getting rid of some of the baseball fields and going across. Is that still in the plans or did they finally scrap that idea?
You talking for Dolby Park? You talking about Dolby
Yes.
Park?
Yes, Little League, they're looking at getting rid of Little League fields that have been there for quite a few years and
Yeah.
are very efficient. And I just wondered if they're looking at getting rid of those. You know, they were talking about they get rid of those, just build new ones. I just wondered if where they're at on that.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do, George. That's probably, we're supposed to address some of this Dolby Park issues in this upcoming workshops. What they're going to start doing right away in relation to the budget. I know their top items, get rid of those cattails. I know that's the biggest thing right now they're gonna try to get done sooner than later. The rest of it's still in the talking stage and also the community involvement.
I don't want them to cut down those beautiful trees out there.
Well, I don't know about the trees, I know the cattails are gonna go.
Ian, you brought those up.
Cattails, you want some for your yard?
No,
Oh,
I don't live in the city, but
I can get you some
I
though.
understand the city put something in Ditch Creek
If that's all.
to keep something from happening, and as a result, these cattails came up. And I live out on Donkey Creek, I said, Donkey Creek, east of town. And now we have that stuff growing up in Donkey Creek to the point that in the spring, when the runoff comes, water backs up on our property, and we have to drive through bumper high water to get through. And it's because all those cattails, I guess, were sprung up because of something the city did. They put something in the water or something, I understand. I went to a meeting about that, and I didn't understand what they were talking about. But the city did something that caused that problem.
That's something you may want to resurrect again and ask that question. So people who are currently in office, at least have some understanding. Because I don't know, but it's a good point. You know,
Yeah.
Oil and contaminants, they supposedly filter that out of the water before it gets to the. And they're habitat for red-winged blackbirds and other birds. Habitat, yeah, but their primary thing when they encourage cattails.
Thanks, Jim.
My time is expired.
At least you have it, praise the Lord for that.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you for spearheading abolishing of the hate crimes too. We're very, yeah. Come on.
Prime example as to how much most of the city council listens to.
Right, right, yeah.
That's why you
You'll,
show up.
That's
It didn't
exactly
do
right.
much good to show up
No, it sure
and voice some
When they
opinion,
passed it.
because they did their vote before you even said anything.
Had to have Jack.
And Glenn was sad, but the hate crimes folks still got.
all right, with that being said, we're going to invite Senator Troy McEwen up to speak to us about some legislative items. Talk about the Gurley Bridge.
I won't. Good evening, everybody. I'm proud to announce I've accepted my nomination as the Campbell County Cemetery District Board Man of the Year. My next question is, how do you make a bridge ADA compliant?
It has the extra room for pedestrians and, yeah, I see what you're saying, so somebody can roll over it.
They want a wheelchair to be able to roll over it.
Wheelchair and then a bathroom on top.
They better have some pretty big biceps. Well, I'll get back to being a little serious. So, the top two items for the Wyoming GOP legislative priorities is tax reform and property tax protection. Yet, many of my fellow peers will tell you that everybody in Wyoming's sick of property tax and doesn't want any more cuts. So you're going to see that come out. The other thing you're going to see them say, ooh, this will drive a state income tax, which I don't believe it will. Because I think even the most left-leaning people in both bodies will not vote to bring a state income tax into Wyoming. If we do, 2/3 of the bodies will be swapped out. Nobody wants that. Some of the other tax stuff that's coming up, we've kind of covered the total reduction in the sales tax bit. We're looking at taking an exemption away from nuclear. Right now they're exempt. We're looking at adding 5 cents per kilowatt on it. Does two things. It makes it very, very expensive for the company and the end user, which may make it unattractive. They're also trying to build these things and avoid property taxes. So here we go down the path to kill coal, oil, and gas and give nuclear everything they want. And as we saw in Tennessee, who welcomed BWXT in, now they're trying to kick them out. So it's interesting. In my opinion, the waste will follow.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
We're looking at extending the long-term homeowner relief. I don't know why we put a sunset date on it to begin with. They said, let's see what happens. Well, we've seen. So it's time to get rid of that exemption. The other thing that came out of the Revenue Committee, which is kind of odd, is we have an anti-money laundering bill, which will get rid of some of the silliness if we can get it passed. of moving money from here to there and everywhere. And as we heard from the cemetery district tonight, happy girls don't do that. Chamber of Commerce, economic development. And their lawyer says it's not a donation, it's advertising. What could they advertise to the EECD? How to fail? How to spend money? Okay, that kind of encompasses the tax stuff coming up. There's a couple more things, but those are the big rocks. Election integrity, always a big issue. They're looking at hand counting votes, testing machines more often, a variety of different things. Now, I'm going to hide behind something so nobody throws anything at me when I say this. I think our election integrity is good. I think it's pretty good. I don't think we're cheating at the ballot. Where I do think we're cheating is at the old folks' home and the senior center. I guess I should call it legacy. I'll be respectful. But hey, let's go through the Alzheimer's ward and get us a couple hundred more votes. I find it strange, and I'm going to bring George in on this one, that our last election, I think collectively out of the senior center, what we get, 3 votes?
You got 4 and I got 0.
4 votes.
Out of 200 and some, I mean total.
Yeah, and I'm a good looking guy. You think at least some of those older women with Alzheimer's would vote for me? Point being, they go in there and they help fill out their ballots. And then when they're done, they remind them what their name is so they can sign it. And I'm not making fun of Alzheimer's. That probably came across as pretty harsh, but yes, sir.
You are too quiet.
Yeah, I am. I'm too quiet, but there's a gal that works at the courthouse in the department that manages elections and voting. I know her personally. She's a client of mine. And she said she witnessed what Troy is telling us right now. She witnessed it. And George's opponent got a phenomenal number more of votes coming out of Legacy than George did. And she knows exactly what people did it.
So, I've been thinking about this. How do you fix this? Obviously, it's not like a roller coaster ride. You must be this tall to get on. So that's where we're at on election integrity. Let's talk about energy independence and nuclear. You want to talk about the dumbest plan ever. We have 400, 500, 300, however many 100 years of coal around here. It's the cheapest form of electricity. The cheapest. And oh, by the way, we have the cleanest coal-fired burning power plant in the country. The only thing that comes out of it's vapor. And it's still going to be cheaper. And if you talk to Ben about the nuclear plan, we're back to windmills. It's all subsidized. So pay me now, pay me later. Pay for the electricity, or you can pay the increase in income tax so it can be funneled back down. We have enough fossil fuel energy, oil, coal, gas, to take care of this country for hundreds of years. But oh, Troy, what are we going to do about those AI centers? Data centers. AI is coming. Oh, we're going to give them coal-fired power plants. Yeah, we might have to build a few, but they're no more expensive. In fact, I would argue they're cheaper, more efficient, and the nuclear thing's going down the windmill path and the solar path. Which, by the way, back to one of the tax things, we're evening that all out, raising it all up to 5. So nuclear, solar, and wind will pay the same amount of usage tax. And it's nowhere near what the coal mine pays or the coal-fired power plants. But in the big, beautiful bill, as I understand it, Donald Trump got rid of the subsidies for green energy. And if we start taxing them, how attractive is it going to be for you to build a wall of solar panels and then go fight for net metering? It's just not doable. So that's kind of that part. We'll talk about blocking foreign control of Wyoming land. This is really kind of specific. The Chinese wanted to buy a ton of land in Wyoming adjacent to Warren Air Force Base. Yeah. Happens to be where a majority or many of our ICBMs and that kind of stuff's around. And it's a strategic kind of weapon and headquarters. Yeah, I think the Chinese want to sell trinkets right next to an Air Force base that nobody can drive to. I think we were successful in stopping that. It's going to come up again. And they're looking all over the place. They're looking next to power plants and then you're going to hear some of the judicial branch say, well, that's unfair competition. You have to let them buy it. You let anybody else buy it? No, we won't. It's not for sale. We will let some people in some areas graze some cattle out there and use that part of it, but ownership and zoning won't change in my mind. No runoff elections. I understand the thought process behind this, but I'm not sure I support the GOP on it. I think the top two ought to go into a runoff election and you got to have 50% to take office. That's how we ended up with the governor we have now. Oh, look, I got 14.6%. I'm the new governor. And it wasn't that bad. It was upwards of 29, 30%, but it was so divided out I think I support the runoff election thought process. I think the GOP doesn't support it because of the timeline, not necessarily the concept.
So are you saying that our present governor got in with approximately the same percentage as Adolf Hitler did in Germany?
Exactly. Yes, sir.
So on the no runoff elections, as I understand it, and I'm looking at their updated Facebook page. I think what I understood is that that was a typo and that the state GOP is in favor of runoff elections.
Thank the Lord.
So,
When I read that, it shocked me.
it did say that, but I heard that it was a typo. So they kind of just messed up.
Well, good.
It was
Okay. I want to talk a little bit, I'm going to go off script here, about the overall tax structure in the state and school recalibration. And I'll scream this from the top of a mountain. Right now, 69 to 71% of every tax we pay goes where, Mary? To the school systems. We are spending over $22,000 per student. And 42% or 43% of our third graders can read at grade level. And I'm not sure where I fall out on the governor's race, but I will tell you this. When Megan Degenfelter was up here at the George Amos building, remember what she said? It's okay, we're 2% higher than the surrounding states. Two percent higher than surrounding states. Yeah. But we're also spending a whole lot more to get that extra 2%. So the 800-pound gorilla in the room, as we start heading towards a cliff, is literally public schools. The NEA and the WA are very, very powerful lobbyists. And they scare a lot of my peers because they all want to get reelected. So while they won't come out and say, oh, I want to spend this money, they certainly won't come out and say, oh, we don't need to. So that's not this session, but next session. We'll take that up and start working it. Yes, sir.
Has anybody ever conducted a survey of homeschooled kids' marks, their proficiency, and private school students' proficiency versus the public school system? Because if they're about the same level, there's no point spending $22,000 a year per student on the public school system. If you have data like that, that is.
You know where I'm going, don't you, Mary? Private school is way higher, especially in this community.
So that's a selling point.
And it costs about $7,000 or $8,000 to send your kid there. So the school choice bill we passed and got vetoed allowed the state to pay the parents $7,000 to educate their own children the way they wanted. There's always strings. But here's how the school system works. Go ahead.
Troy, is the state fighting giving the homeschool parents the $7,000, if I understood it correctly?
Very hard.
Or are they making concessions to actually do that now? Because I heard that the state education department had fought so hard not to give parents that are homeschooling or private schools, like a Catholic school that
Well, they're going to have to now unless they go to the black robe legislators. Here's how this works. You think those administrators care about your kids? They do. They care about them. They care about having their butt in the seat. They don't care what they learn because it's based on what's called ADM, average daily membership. So,
And if you give them an intelligence test and they flunk it, you're looking at big dollars for special education.
I'm not going to touch special ed tonight because that would take the whole time, how that's broken, how that works. But so one good thing we did in recalibration, if we can get it through, we siloed teacher pay. That's fine. You want to give teachers raises? I think nobody's really against that. But the problem is, one of the loudest people screaming for these raises was Teton. And we voted in an 8.3% raise. Jackson Hole. They didn't give any of it to the teachers. And then they slapped back at us and said, well, they're already paying what the model says. Well, the model's a guide. Model is not legislation. So we got to push back on that. In Campbell County, I was at a meeting and teachers were like, you're the guy who wants to cut taxes. You're killing my pay. And I looked at her and I said, you just got an 8.3% raise. She said, no, I didn't. They use that for, what do you call that place where you stare at stars? Planetarium. The Star Trek port. And things of that nature. Maybe something that's a hole in the ground with water in it got some of it. Yes, sir.
I got a question for you. If you legislated 8.3%, why aren't they mandated to give that 8.3%? How can they get above the legislative body to overrule that?
That is a great question that I failed to speak on earlier. When money goes down to the school districts, it goes in what's called a block grant. And we at the legislature can't tell superintendents what to do with it. So when they get it, oh, that's nice. I think Campbell County gave a 3 or 3.5% raise. I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that, but it certainly was an 8.3. And they were happy to say the starport was important. Yes, sir.
So everyone may already know what happened to the bill or whatever that was supposed to give an option for private school and stuff like that in Campbell County. Like, it was supposed to give $7,000. There was advocates from Heritage Christian School and stuff like that that were telling people, and it sounds like at the last minute it got vetoed or something.
Yes.
Vetoed by.
Only one person can do a veto.
Or was it the court?
Yes, ma'am.
How many people?
Yes.
So,
So you guys took over right when we had it. And the
Correct.
Heritage hadn't even hired to fix it.
so,
I had to read up.
No, that's another very, very good point. So we'll be down there 3 extra days this session. We kind of learned our lesson. No, we're going to stay late the 72 hours to override it. Whatever he vetoes that the bodies want to override.
So will it be in the agenda? Is there a plan for that?
Yes. There's also a plan to change the Constitution. But here's the tough part of the Constitution for education. It's up for interpretation. So I would ask y'all, how do you interpret the state must provide every child 3 years worth of education, K through 12? 3. That's what it says in the Constitution. And we get in big arguments, oh, that means they have to be afforded or we have to keep them in the seats for 3 years. It says the state of Wyoming will provide 3 years of education to every student.
That's all Lincoln had.
Their test scores would probably be the same.
Well, let's say the first, the fifth, and the 12th.
Yeah.
And then his mother homeschooling the rest of the way.
And to finish answering your question, the private schools are way ahead of the public schools. The home schools are kind of all over the map because it depends on parents and what they're doing for homeschooling. Yes, sir.
I don't think the Constitution needs to be amended because if a school, a private school, or a homeschooler meets the minimum requirements, the same requirements that a public school does, and the government directs the $22,000 a year per student to the school or the homeschool of the parent's choice. It has in fact provided the education that the Constitution says it has to. You're giving them money and it's being directed to a accredited and an institution or a teacher that's going to meet the same requirements as the public school. So by facilitating that financially, you have met what the Constitution says you have to meet.
You know, a lion's share of the homeschoolers don't even want the money.
Because they don't want to have to do standardized testing or prove that they are teaching certain things. They want the government out of their house.
Then they don't have to accept it.
And that's what they were prepared with the bill that was passed. They were prepared, most of them, the ones that were applying were public school, mainly private school families that wanted help with their tuition for the private school. It wasn't the homeschool.
That's fine. Then they don't have to take it.
Great, the way it was drafted was perfect.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, a quick follow-up that I want to know how I can act on it. So what percentage, how, that bill passed, with what percentage of the bill? Do we know? Like how many people were for that, for the giving options for funds to private school, alternative education?
I'm going to guess I'll be in the ballpark.
Yeah, I was just trying, yeah.
Probably about 2/3
Okay, so like
in both houses.
66 to 70%.
Yeah.
And like 4 or 5 people in black robes shut it down? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, the governor shut that one down.
I thought I heard the courts. I thought I heard the courts.
I thought this was court.
Yeah, it did.
They were
Yeah, you're
allowed
right.
to release the payments
You're right.
this summer when the court stopped it.
So five people shut it down. And 70% of the people voted.
No, it wasn't the Supreme.
Yeah,
Well, no,
it was
one judge.
blocked, I think, by a district court
Yeah,
judge.
yeah.
And so I'm assuming now it'll be appealed to the
Yeah, it has
So
been.
the second part of my question is, because the thing is, I think most of us have seen it. Um, People like to play games, so they will pause for time to help people forget about what's going on. At what point in time do we try to work to stop lawfare? What right does one person have to say, oh, put it on pause? Yeah, it might go through appeals 3 years later, or maybe their hope is it gets swept under the rug like everything else. I'm tired of seeing the people wanting a thing, and then like a few people go, oh yeah, no. It just doesn't seem right. I guess. It just seems, I don't know, it just seems wrong.
Well, the last budget and stuff we put together went to a district court. Keep me straight, Mary, because we're talking 3 different bills and 3 different outcomes. That judge found for the school districts, led by guess who? So it was appealed. And it went to the appellate court, the Supreme Court, and they upheld the decision. Here's the issue. Here's why it's important for everybody to be informed and vote. The governor of the state of Wyoming appoints judges. They're not elected. It's, hey, this is what I want to see happen. It's kind of like the abortion legislation. The Constitution also there says everybody has a right to health care. Every person. So they read the first 2 sentences of that, but they don't read the third. All minor children will be the responsibility of their parents. So the real question is, when does life begin? And I think the scientists even have proven at conception. So you'd think that'd be a locked down, easy argument, right? Those are kind of some of the things. You'll see some of the abortion stuff come back up again too. We're not going to quit on that either. Yes, ma'am.
What about the computers for the kids in school? Where's all that money coming from?
I thought everybody knew this till today. In that last judgment, every child in Wyoming will get a computer. K through 12. Can you imagine a kindergartner with a tablet?
For the parents.
They probably can operate it better than me, but that doesn't mean they need it. Well, K through 3, they can't take them home because they might get broken.
Or the parents might see what.
Yeah. And I'll close on this. I've been up here a while. Sorry. DI and all that is still healthy. It's just been relabeled.
Yep, saw that.
I mean, we defunded UW, so they came back for funding in a different area and used it for that.
Opened up a new office. At
Yep.
UW. Yep.
So that monster's still out there too.
Did I see that they have a class on ecofeminism?
You might.
Ecofeminism.
What do they change DEI to?
I'll get back to you on that.
It was the exact same director in the same people actually opened up a new office, and it had it in Cowboy State Daily.
It's
Yeah.
confidential and I don't have a need to know. No, I need to get on top of it.
Yeah, it's called something, yeah.
Any other questions?
Another point, 11 states have passed a law against Sharia law. I called the governor's office and asked him, where is Wyoming on this? We need to get a handle on Islam before it gets a handle on us. And something needs to be done. There needs to be somebody come up with enough guts to say, thus far and no further.
I think the good news is Waltz and his cronies in Minnesota have screwed this up so bad that it's going to help the pendulum at least swing further right. And he's stepping down, and everybody around him stepping down. But there's neighborhoods in this country now where the Muslims are their own police, and they follow their own laws.
Dearborn, Michigan.
It may seem too soon, but if we don't get something up front to start with before they get here with that.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any kind of legislation being considered regarding chemtrails? I'm so tired of looking up and seeing them right over my house. Some states have some legislation that needs to be in the process. It's the Pentagon, it's not state, right? I think
Well,
the states have some legislation.
we're working on that through ag, and I'm on ag too, believe it or not. The way to fight that is not stopping the airplanes above us. It's not, because we can't. It's federal airspace. However, when they release it all, it falls down to the earth. And it becomes litter. It's like taking the mafia down for tax evasion. It still worked. But that's the best way to go after that, and that's what we're trying to do.
Go over the last one.
Trying to remember what that says.
It's Troy, it's 26 LS.
Oh, God. Anybody want to give me a hint on it?
Someone Google it.
I can give you a little bit of context. This one's important to
Can
the
you
county.
get a mic so I can get it on camera? Sorry.
So this bill is really more pertinent to the county parties and their operations. For those of you guys who may have been following the news, there's been an issue that came up in Hot Springs County on the legitimacy of the leadership that was elected, and that has to do with the precinct committee men and women. And honestly, it's all a bit complicated. There were provisional ballots, and state party said, nope, this is the right leadership. The other people said, no, we're the actual leaders. We're the chair, vice chair, etc. That's kind of what this will do, is remedy that. So there are a couple of confusing situations. For example, mine, it's a question of, and essentially it pulls into question the legitimacy of those who are appointed to precinct committee precinct committee spots, those who are write-in candidates. So from a party perspective, for example, I sent to the state party the list of all of our precinct committee men and women, who was appointed, who was a write-in candidate, because the state needs to know all of that so they can essentially show that, yes, this is a problem, it needs to be resolved.
It's a House bill. Is it not, Noberto? Probably came out of corporations. I'm not part of that committee. Okay, any other questions?
I guess it's my turn. Well, there was a lot of information handed out this evening, and I hope that you all really enjoyed this. I guess we're going to have 2 meetings in February, is that correct? 2 meetings. Let's see, the first one is 2nd, and then we'll, 2 weeks later, 1 week later. Okay, and we're probably going to send that out. Okay, and then that second meeting, I've got a presentation that I'm going to do. It's actually sponsored by the John Birch Society, and I looked at it and have actually taken excerpts from that and also the U.S. Constitution. One of the reasons why we had formed this organization, I think about 12 years ago. Was it longer than that? It's been so much fun. It's just 14. Yeah, time goes by really fast when you're having fun. But we have assisted this organization has assisted many people in getting elected to some very important positions and ruffled a few feathers and made some friends and made a few enemies also. But anyway, so that second meeting will be something that I present, and then the first one will be, I guess, a normal meeting with guest speakers, I'm assuming. Oh, Brent Bean is coming in, that's right, yeah. The 9th, right. So that upcoming one, the first one in February is going to be a good one because Brent will be here and he'll have, I think, the entire meeting, maybe some little bits of time for some other people that'll be showing up. But good advice, show up for that first one and show up for the second one because I'll be doing, I think, a pretty good presentation on the Constitution. Thank you.